Hey guys, it's your girl Miss G, and you know what time it is. It's G time. It's time to get up, get active, and get it together. My purpose is to give advice, encourage change, and empower success. The goal is for us to grow, elevate, and excel. Everyday action is required for change, and you have the power to create change. So, if you have been following me, you know that I'm doing a series right now called W.A.P. And if you are not familiar with W.A.P, understand that my interpretation, my um, purpose is to bring this acronym something positive. It's to talk about something positive. You know, I tell you all the time, I have young girls, I have children who listen to what's going on out in this world. You can't turn on a radio without hearing something crazy. And I want to change the dynamic of what WAP stands for. And I'm all about positivity. As you can see, I'm all about the positive mind. I like positive vibes. And in order to do so, you have to be willing to go there. You have to be willing to take those risks to say, look, I'm changing this around to something else. And when I talk about it, it's going to be in a positive way. It's going to be in a positive light. So, again, if you have been following me, my WAP stands for Winning Attitudes Persevere. I know people who have winning attitudes. I know people who are willing, who are working, who are able, who are pushing towards change and progress, right? And so that's what I want my WAP to stand for. When you talk about, oh, she got that WAP, yeah, I got a winning attitude that perseveres. I have a winning spirit that tells you that no matter what I'm going through, no matter what the obstacles are, I'm going to continue to strive, I'm going to continue to push, and I'm going to continue to make my way through. That's what I'm about. So, now that I broke it down for you and now you understand where I'm going and what I'm talking about, let me introduce our new interviewer, somebody that I met here in Texas. I haven't been here a long time, and she is just an awesome person inside and out. And to me, she has that WAP. She has that winning attitude that perseveres. And so we're going to be talking to her today, and we're going to be talking about self-love. She has been on a journey of self-love and finding herself, reintroducing herself to herself. And I want to know what that means. I think that's awesome, and that's something that we can share with other people. What does it mean to know yourself? What does it mean to reintroduce yourself to yourself? What does it mean to date yourself? Self-love. So we're going to get into this episode today. Then I'll come back with a little, ending notes and talk about what we gathered from it. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Victoria. Hey, Miss Victoria.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Good. The weather is kind of gloomy, but it's a good day for gumbo and snuggles,
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone.
Well, my name is Victoria. I am just a regular person, just a regular woman. You and I are friends through church. I am just wanting people to know more about themselves simply because I'm knowing more about myself. And I think that's the whole purpose of us being on the earth, is just to help other people, right? And so that's just a little bit about me. I used to be a backup dancer for Prince. I have a twin. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Ooh. Got a twin sister. So just a little bit, I'm a dog lover, things in that nature, long walks on the beach, those things.
I love it. Mm-hmm. I learned some things right now, like, okay, all right. I didn't know you were a backup dancer for Prince, and I didn't know you had a twin.
Yes. 8 minutes apart. I'm the oldest. She's a tree hugger, so she's very earthy and things in that nature. So
that is so awesome.
Yeah.
So as we're getting into this self-love, I heard you say, I just want, our purpose is to just share these things with other people. And, that's my purpose. I say it's G time, right? Time for us to grow, elevate, and excel. And when I say us, I mean not just me. I mean all of us.
And
Right.
however I can help somebody else, that's what I want to do. And that's why I've started this YouTube channel. You know, the podcast is fun. I love it, but I really like the interaction between other people, having that one-on-one and getting to talk to people and just sharing what they're doing to help themselves and how that can help somebody else.
Yes,
Right?
I agree. Yes.
So we're talking about self-love and this journey of self-love. So kind of give me some background into, you know, how you came about.
Yeah. So, how I guess during this quarantine, we just learned more about ourselves, you know, just things that we like and dislike about ourselves, things that we picked up as a habit that we didn't know, things we neglect and things in that area. And so I think, you know, pretty much like God just revealed to me that you've given so much to everybody, including me, that you neglect yourself, you know, just like a plant. If we're here to give medicine from a plant, or, you know, to give shade from a plant, then we still need to nourish ourselves, you know? And so, when it comes to me, I neglect myself in some major areas, as far as like just physically, mentally, and spiritually. And I believe that God just kind of like gave me a halt that said, hey, you know, you can't really run on empty, right? And so I just took up some reading, and also took up some things that I just wrote down to know more about me, you know, and literally wrote down things that I like and what I don't like, things that I wasn't aware of, like who are my heroines, you know, like who are people that I look up to, you know, what are their stories, you know, what kind of love do I expect to receive from people, like I looked up things as far as well about myself as well, like what kind of friend am I, to myself, you know, all of those things kind of go together to help you with your self-love. So one thing in particularly that I need to do better with is dating myself. So even if you're single, married, or you're dating or whatnot, you need to date yourself, you know, because that way you're not like, you don't have to wait until you get married to be exposed to different cultures. You don't have to wait until you don't have to wait for girls to take you places and things in that area. Just more so like educating yourself about yourself, you know?
Right.
So one thing that I challenged myself is to take myself out on 10 dates.
Nice.
On 10 dates. And I'll document it, whatnot. That way I can share it with other people, but take myself out on 10 dates, not just going to eat, not just going to the movies, like rock climbing and going on a hike and, you know, just going to explore certain things by myself, golfing, you know, just exposing myself to different things. Another challenge that I gave myself, that I'm probably going to restart in 2021 is exposing myself to different cultures, you know?
Nice.
One thing in particular is that you don't want to wait until someone else takes you somewhere, right? So just exposing myself to different cultures, as far as like going to have Greek food or going to have Thai food or things in that nature. Just exposing myself. So I think self-love is just knowing yourself first, you know?
That's awesome. You know, in therapy, we teach a lot about self-care and being able to give yourself that self-care. So often we are so quick to give everybody else everything that they need. Especially as women, you know, we give, we do. And then at the end of the day, we'll wonder why we're so burnt out, why we're so tired. We have really bad habits. And it's so hard to get out of them because we have no like you said, our cup is so empty and there's nothing in it. And I learned that the hard way, trust and believe. And that is how Miss G Talk actually got started, just being in a place of trying to find myself, even through, you know, marriage and 3 kids later, working a 10-hour day. I was like, but what do I have at the end of the day? And when I started to feel my body stop and just stop moving the way that it used to, and I couldn't do the things that I used to do until God literally just sat me down. And I mean, for real, sat me down. I mean, a boot, a cane, all of the above sat me down. And it was in that time I found myself, and I found my value and my worth. Even though I know my value and I know my worth, I learned more about me. I learned that I give too much. And not that that's a bad thing, but I still have to give to myself.
Yes.
You can't avoid.
Yes. And one of the things also is that we make it so intentional to like do a schedule, right? I'm sure that you do it because you, again, you say you're a mother of 3, you work 10 hours, you also have 2 or 3 side businesses because you're a hustler. Like literally, like you have all of these things and you're intentional about making sure that you schedule out these things. So just making sure that you're intentional about scheduling out time for you. You know,
Yep.
like even if it's once a month, okay, mama just gonna go and rest for this one 8-hour day. You know, as much as you pour into people, you have to pour into yourself. And so me personally, I am a scheduled person. I do things by 10 on 10. You know, if it's not written down, then I'm TT not doing it. Okay. And so literally I have to be intentional on writing down, hey, I'm blocking out this Saturday just for me, you know, because Sunday is for the Lord. And, you know, Monday and through Friday is for work or whatnot. I'm going to be intentional about literally blocking out this Saturday just for me. Even again, even if it's just for 1 month, I mean, 1 day out of the month, you know, just being intentional, giving yourself that time as well.
Right. That's awesome. When I was training to be a cognitive behavioral therapist. And I didn't know, me and my coworker, we were there together for 3 days. And it was so funny because we're learning how to be these therapists, right? And it was funny because by the end of the training, we were boo-hoo crying, and we were like, did our supervisors send us here for therapy, or did they want us to teach people? Because we just learned so much about ourselves in that time. And there was something that they, you know, the speaker, she was talking about, we were doing like a behavioral activation chart, and she was saying that, you know, put yourself on the schedule, just like you're saying, right? Just like you have to put yourself on that schedule. And so I literally, during that time, I wrote a schedule out, and my schedule was crazy. And I'm like, I don't have time for myself. So I had to literally take some things out. No, I'm going to do this for myself. And my first thing was going to the gym. And I was like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. And, you know, she said, once you get there, reward yourself. And I was like, ooh, like, what do I get to reward myself with, right?
Yes.
And so my reward was being able to, if I did 30 minutes of something, I got to sit 15 minutes in the sauna, which is my favorite, because I'll just go to the gym to sit in the sauna. Forget the other stuff. I be like, sweat it out, sweat it out.
Right. It's still working either way. You know, I'm in the gym. That's what people don't, they miss that part. I'm in the gym. Okay.
Right. Yes. And she was like, no, when you get there, reward yourself. I was like, okay. So I would give myself 10 minutes in the sauna before I even worked out. And you know, it worked out a lot better once I got in there and started sweating. I was like, okay, I'm ready for this. I can do this. So getting on to schedules, so now that you created a calendar and you put yourself on that calendar, what is your routine?
Well, with that, making sure that Saturday, because I just pick one Saturday out of the month to make sure that whole day, whether I want to be in bed, whether I want to go out and look at the sky or whatnot, like that one day is dedicated to me. And I'm not feeling sorry about it either, you know?
That's
so
great.
If I get up in the morning and I'm just like, okay, let's go over our day, because that's normally what I do is like, okay, what big task should I handle today? And then I'll put whatever I can on the side. But if that day I blocked out for myself, then I don't even look at my schedule. I'm excited for that day. I literally prepare for it like I would prepare for anything else. I go and buy snacks, go get a good movie, make sure my robe is washed and fluffy. And that way, if I want to stay in that bed, I am prepared for that. Because just like how you prepare for your day and you prepare for people and things of that nature, prepare for yourself, you know, get excited to share some time with you. And then not only that, when you're in the midst of dating yourself, make sure that time is intimate too. Just like how you would want intimacy with someone else, you need to make sure you have intimacy with yourself. No one really knows you like you. So when we talk about schedule, I make sure that time I'm getting to know myself. Hey, let's know 5 different things about me differently. Like, you know, as far as like cooking, let's try, you know, different type of fish or something like that. Or let's try different type of wines if you're a wine drinker. Things to just put in your schedule to help you become better. That's the whole point of it.
That's awesome. When you know, we teach about self-esteem and increasing your self-esteem. And that's one of the things that as a therapist, I learned when I was teaching self-esteem and having people write down 5 strengths that they have, that they was so hard.
Yep.
right? Or five positive qualities, so hard. Now, if I said, give me 5 negative qualities about you, people
Yep.
were really quick to give me 5 negative qualities about themselves, but really slow to give me something positive. And so, you know, the solution to that, or the helping them to increase that self-esteem, was teaching them positive affirmations. And
Right.
so I know for me, on my wall, you may not be able to see it over here, I have it though.
Yep.
I have a list of positive affirmations, and I have to tell myself, I can do this. I am doing this. I
Yep.
am worth it. And so that's why when I say you have the power to create change, it's all about how you change your mind first.
Yep.
And so I think that's so awesome that you schedule time for just yourself. I can tell you I'm not there yet, but I like
It's
it. I
okay.
like it. I
Even if
like
you
it.
have to do like an hour a week, or just promise yourself something. But you made the statement about your love language. That's one of the things as well that you should know about yourself, is
Yeah.
not necessarily like expecting people to do these love languages for you, but doing them for yourself. So like, for
Right.
instance, you like affirmation. For me, I like gifts. I love surprises. I like gifts. So I will literally surprise myself with a gift. I will wrap it up and surprise myself with a gift and be like, oh my God, girl, look at this. Okay.
That is
Like,
so
I
cool.
like that. I do it for myself. Like, you know, if you want to do tips treats and you can send it as a surprise, I'll write a message in there. You go, girl, and send it to myself. You know, you expect so much from other people, but it's you that let you down, you know, because, and that we hold ourselves accountable. It's you at the beginning of every sentence, right? They say, you made this decision. You thought of that thought. You. But it's us that also has to take care of us, you know? So when it comes to affirmation, like, I think it's very important to know that about yourself too. So if you like quality time, give yourself quality time. If you like affection, love on yourself with a good bath, or go rock climbing, or exercise, or do something that literally will be greater for you, you know, as far as that love language.
That is awesome.
Yes.
I'm taking notes. Trust me, I am
Yes.
taking mental notes.
Yes.
And then I'm like, oh, I'm proud of myself. Last week I ordered me some new shoes, and I didn't order nobody else. I didn't order anybody else anything. Just me.
Yes.
And I am so not that person.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, I just ordered something for myself.
And see, that's the habits that we have to break. Just like how we eat bad things, we have to break those bad habits where we make everything about everyone. And we just have to start creating good habits for ourselves. When people say that, oh, there's so much generation curses, no, it's a blessing. Like, think about the blessings, you know, think about the good things that you do for yourself. Give yourself grace and credit that you woke up this morning, got even out the bed, you know, because some people don't make it. And just getting to that bathroom to brush their teeth, that's self-love to them. So you have to give yourself credit somewhere. And yes, I applaud you for getting your shoes yourself. You know? Yes.
My grandma, when I got married 15 years ago, my grandma told me, her gift to me said, she told me, make sure every month you do something for yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I had a hard time with it. And even again, to this day, I still have such a hard time. If I go somewhere, if I'm doing something, it's always, oh, let me pick this up for the kids. Oh, let me get this for my husband. And then I'll sit here like, well, what about me? I haven't done anything for myself. And it's a process, but it's a process that we can change if we're willing to change it. And so just those little steps right there, I truly appreciate that. I'm glad we're talking about it. So like I tell everybody, I don't have it all together. That's why I'm doing it, because I don't have it all together.
Right. And then you mentioned something like, when we do all these things and we're like, what about ourselves? We start developing these resentments towards people because then we expect them to do it. And it's not fair to them because we didn't do it to ourselves, you know?
Exactly.
As a single person, and I don't speak for all single people, but as a single person, I have to be mindful of not carrying, being really mindful of not carrying what happened to other things in other paths, to making sure that I love myself. So when someone else comes along, or when we just decide to go our separate ways, that they don't take anything from me because I had self-love myself first. Right. And I think that's really important, just taking care of you first, like, so that you don't hold other people accountable. You know, people don't have, again, it's you at the beginning of that sentence, you know?
Yes. I love that. I'm actually going through the process of teaching that this week, especially in a relationship. I put a quote on Instagram this week about love is not an excuse for abuse. And I
Right.
truly mean that. And a lot of times people will say, it's because I love them. It's because I love them. And I'm always like, but what about you? Do you love you?
Right.
Because loving you says that that's not acceptable. So good. So when we talk about what self-love means, taking care of one's own needs, not sacrificing your well-being to please others. Self-love means not settling for less than you deserve. How are
Yes.
you practicing self-love, and what does not settling for anything less than you deserve look like?
Okay, so one, I need to be aware of my goals, right? As a person, you have to have your own individual goals.
Absolutely.
So as I set goals, whether they're going to be major or minor goals, when I achieve those goals, that lets me know that I didn't settle. For me, it does. It lets me know, like, hey, you went after what you really wanted, which is great. You didn't get distracted. You didn't get discouraged or anything in that nature. Like, you truly went after what it is that you desire. Those are goals to, I mean, that's achieving and not settling for what it is that's not given to you, right?
Absolutely.
So, for instance, if you want to work out and you say, hey, my goal is to lose 30 pounds. When you lose those 30 pounds, that's achieving a goal and not settling for less, right?
Right.
For me, it would be. And if I lose those 30 pounds, I'm feeling like Rocky on top of the world, And then I'm like, okay, what else can I do? What further goal can I do? Because when you settle one goal, you go to the next goal. So
Right.
when you're not settling, it's like I want more and more and more for better for myself. So those are some of the things that I would do for me as far as not settling.
That's good. I have the same type of goal. However, every time I lose 10 pounds, I get to buy myself something.
Yes. Okay.
Just so I can keep going.
Right.
And I'm not taking it back if I gain it back. So it's already mine.
That's it. They don't know about that part. They don't know about that part. Yes. Okay. I got it. I need to put that on the subject line. Do not return if gain weight back. Like, I gotta put that. Yeah. That's a good one.
I was just looking at building new habits. And so when you brought up goals, it was great because it said to the difference between goals and habits. Goals are outcomes such as getting healthy. Habits are the actions that you take to achieve those goals, right? So you have your goals, but now you also are talking about the habits that you're in to get to those goals, like taking care of yourself, taking that Saturday for yourself, dating yourself, loving yourself. And so I think that's really important that we tell people that there's a difference between goals and habits, and the habits that you set now is what's going to help you to reach those goals.
Right. Correct. Yes, that's so true. Especially if I know that we keep talking about weight. I want to talk about something different, like maybe eating healthier.
Okay.
Like just to like lower your blood pressure, or for me, lower my blood pressure, right? I have to pick up a habit of not having snacks, all the time. And if I do have snacks, well, I have to do the correct snack, if that makes sense, right? And so in order for me to do the correct snack, I got to get in the habit of picking up the grapes, and I got to get in the habit of picking up the fruits and the vegetables.
So I think that is really good when you're talking about the habits that you're creating in order to reach those goals as far as weight loss. I mean, I've been on this journey forever, but this time, this season in my life, it's a lot different. And so when I've noticed those habits that I've created, like for example, I went to bed early last night because I went on a date with myself yesterday.
Oh, yes.
The kids drove me crazy in virtual learning. And so what I did for myself was I go to this place where I get my vitamins and my compression therapy just to get my blood flowing and things. And so that's for me, it's me. It's my date time. It's my time. So I'm sitting there, which is crazy because I'm like, when did date time become IVs in my arms and compressions on my legs? But
hey, as we get older, it's just the quietness of being alone.
Right. No phone.
No matter if
nobody talking. Right. It was just me. And I felt so good afterwards. I came home and knocked out at 9 o'clock. So I was up around 1. And of course I got hungry. And I got a bag of chips sitting right here by my door. They're not mine, but I looked at them and walked right past them, opened the refrigerator and grabbed a bag of grapes. And I'm sitting there just munching on these grapes, and I started laughing to myself. And I'm like, I really just grabbed some grapes and water.
Look at that.
Okay,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
those small changes.
Yes. Yes. And my sister likes to tell me all the time, because you have these people that are trying to help you eat better. She's like, you already know what that tastes like. So when I look at it, I'm like, I already know what those chips taste like. I'm a
Yes,
munch on these grapes, Yeah.
yes. Me and a couple of my friends were in this weight loss challenge, and that was one thing that someone pointed out. She said, "You already know what it tastes like,"
Yep.
and I'm like, "You are absolutely right. I know what it tastes like." So,
Yep.
my snacks and my eating habits have changed, and now all of a sudden I'm making fruit platters and fruit
Yes.
cheese platters, and
Yes.
I'm like, "Wow."
Yes.
So that brings me to I'm on a site called therapistaid.com. It's a really awesome site, and I love the tips and the tools that they have and the worksheets that they have. They have a lot of guides, they have a lot of videos. So when we're talking about changing and self-love, I'm in self-esteem, and so it has a worksheet on building new habits, and I'll post that
Right.
after we're finished. And the one thing you just said before I even mentioned it was starting with small changes.
Yes.
Those small changes are going to get you to the goals that you want to
Yep.
reach. We have short-term goals and we have long-term goals.
Yes.
My short-term goals is just to see the first 10 pounds go. Like, come on.
Yes. Those are the
You know,
hardest.
yes, I know. I've been up
Yes.
and down for about 3 months. Like, come
Yes.
on and just get past these first 10 pounds.
Right.
As soon as I look at a burger, 5 pounds went back up.
You hear me? Like, I'm like, wait a minute now. Like, where did this come from? Like, all these pounds come from. Let me put this Bible down, because I know it's just these verses that's adding more weight to me. Like, okay, let me take my glasses off. You know what? Let me subtract 10 pounds, because I know my hair.
I was like, these braids are heavy.
Right. So anything that helps you get through it, because it definitely helps me. Okay.
Absolutely. And I think all of that is about self-love. All that's about learning yourself.
Yeah.
And we learn all the time in our women's ministry about giving ourselves grace and
Yes.
not expecting to reach unrealistic expectations, right? We're reaching obtainable expectations.
Yep.
We have obtainable expectations so we can reach those obtainable goals.
Yes.
And so I know that I'm not going to not ever eat fried chicken. I know that I'm going to have a bag of chips,
Right.
everything in moderation. I don't have it every day. It's not even something I crave anymore. But you know what? Every now and then I'm like, oh, I could go for a small bag of hot Cheetos.
Yes. Because we have to, that's the thing though, we have to do realistic goals for us. Like, for instance, one of my friends wanted to do, I'm really getting into jump roping. And she was like, let's do 10,000 for the whole month. 10,000? Like, what? She's like, it's only like 200 or something a day. 200 or something a day. First of all, I'm thinking about the time, how long it's gonna get me through those 200 or something jump ropes. I'm thinking about the area I'm gonna do it in, like what I'm with. Like, when we start thinking of those those unrealistic goals for ourselves, then all this negativity starts coming in, and then we think that we really can't do it. And then so therefore we have to do things that are realistic to us. So if you say, Tori, let's do 10 jump ropes a day, I'm down. Then we can up it to 20. Then we can up it to 40. Like literally, like we were just saying, small goals first and then jump up to the big goals. Don't set yourself up for failure. And there's the word again. Don't set yourself up for failure. Yourself.
Right. So when we're talking about reintroducing yourself and learning yourself and dating yourself, that's what you learn when you know yourself. I'm not about to do that. Not because that's not what I don't want to do. It's because I know that if I put that big old goal in front of me, I'm not going to achieve it.
Right.
So I need to take smaller steps because I know me. Now, some people may say, I got that. I can do it. Power to you. That's you knowing yourself. But as for me, I'm going to start off a little bit. Right. We do 10 jumping jacks a day.
Yes. That's it. Yep. Yep.
That is so good. So is there anything else that you want to share that you would give to somebody who's saying, okay, Victoria, I heard what you said. I want to get on this journey of self-love. I want to learn myself more. I want to start dating myself more. I want to be as good as I am to myself as I am to anybody else. Where do I start?
Well, first thing that I did, I wrote a letter to myself, just apologizing for everything that I either put myself through or put myself in a position. I wrote a letter to myself apologizing to me. And then once I finished that letter and I read it out loud to myself, because it doesn't make sense just being in my head, you know. So I read it out loud to myself, and then I burned it up. And once
Yes.
I burned it up, I was done with it. As much as we can be done with people, be done with the old you. Be done
Yes.
with the old you and reintroduce yourself. I stood in the mirror. Hey, my name is Victoria. What's your name? Oh, your name is Victoria. Okay, we're gonna do this thing, girl. And we work. I'm telling you, I'm working this thing out for my good. I know it sounds
Yes.
crazy, but this is just how I get through me, right? Is I have to talk to me. I have to be like, girl, we got to get this together. You know, people aren't supposed to add joy to you. You know, when you get into a marriage or whatnot, and I've never been married, but to me, they're supposed to enhance you, you know, embrace you, and not add to you in a negative way. Like, they're supposed to bring happiness to you. You know, they're supposed to bring more joy to you, more happiness to you, be a safe place for you. And so for you, you have to be a place. You can't
Right.
be a chaos place. You can't be a place of confusion. You need to be a place of peace. You need to be a
Yeah.
place of calmness. You know, you need to be a light to yourself. You know, like literally, that's where I would start first. Is apologizing to you, and just be done with it. Be done with it. For me, I have to write things out. So why not
Right.
write a letter to myself, mail it to me, and then when I finish, throw it away? You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That
Yes.
is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you have to know yourself and grow within yourself before you can enhance and be there for someone else. And a lot
Right.
of times we bring a lot of baggage and a lot of garbage to our
Mm-hmm.
relationships with others because
Right.
we haven't let some things go. We haven't
Mm-hmm.
talked to ourselves about some things. We haven't forgiven ourselves about some things.
Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
I really like the burning it. I know when I was working with my students, I had them write down a lot of negative thoughts about themselves, and then we put it
Mm-hmm.
in water, and we sat there and watched that
Mm-hmm.
paper just tear apart, and it got into little itty bitty
Right.
pieces, and it sunk to the bottom of what we had, and it was gone. And so
Yep.
with that, I'm going to challenge you and give you a couple seconds to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to
Yes.
give me 5 positive strengths about yourself.
Oh, I probably don't have to think about that.
Oh, go ahead and do it.
One thing about like a positive strength about me is that I'm fun. I
Yes.
find the humor in everything. Like, you're gonna have a good time with me. I am fun. Two, you know, and I'm glad that you said about you, because not what I bring to people, but about me.
Yep.
Two is that my strength is that I can cook. Not like, you
Hey,
know, your mama cooking. I can cook like me. Like, you know, I can cook. Three
I'll be
is
over.
I'm very, very organized. I like to be, you know, boom, boom, boom. You know, I think that's a strength for me. It helps me keep everything in order. A fourth would be that I'm a leader. You know, I feel like I am a leader. And the fifth one I'm gonna say is I can be led.
Yeah.
So these are strengths for me that I have. And then what I can do for others is you know, you are your brand. That's what I'm learning. You are your brand. And when people say that saying, Crystal, what people think about you doesn't matter. It does matter.
Yes, it does.
What people think about you should matter. You
Yeah.
know, when you walk in a room, they need to say, "Oh, yep, that's the girl." You know, that's her. I can work with her. I can move forward with her. You know, I can have her pray for me. I know I can go to her when I need something. You know, that's
Absolutely.
what you are, your brand. You know, and so when those strengths, you need to know those 5 strengths about yourself. What would you say your 5 strengths are? I know you're the host, but I just want to know.
All right. So 5 strengths about myself. I will tell you that
Mhm.
I am also teachable. I love being teachable because not
Mhm.
everybody's teachable. I love to
Right.
learn. I
Mhm.
am also very fun myself, but if I had to give it another word, um, mm, I'm very talkative, which is great because that's how I got
Yeah,
into this field because I like to talk, and
that's it.
now it's my passion and my purpose in life is to talk to
Mhm.
people.
Yes.
I am loving
Mhm.
and not just loving like, oh, I love my children, I love my husband. No, I'm really loving, and I like
Mhm.
to find the good in people.
Yep.
I'm a hard worker.
Yes.
I am a
Come
very hard
on.
worker. I am determined. Arthritis came and kicked my butt, and I'm kicking his butt back because it can't stop
Right.
me.
Come on. Yes.
Which one? How many did I give you?
I think you gave me about 1,100, 8,000, 9,000. I wasn't counting, but you got it. You better brag about yourself. That's one thing. I love it. I love when people brag about themselves. That lets me know, like, hey, I gotta stop and think about me for a moment. When
Right,
you can
right.
stop and brag about yourself, like literally, okay, girl, get it go. Just brag. I'm not gonna stop you. People think it's conceited. No, I want you to know about
Oh,
you
you
in
have to
confidence.
have confidence.
Yes.
Absolutely. You have to have confidence. Having this platform, having this measure, it can be very scary
Yep.
because you're putting yourself out there to the world.
Yes.
And what I say is, you know how many people put themselves out there to the world and they're negative and it makes no sense at all and people are just on the bandwagon? Well, you know what? If I
Right.
can just
Right.
get one person on my positive bandwagon, I'm good. I know
That's
that
it.
I'm changing somebody's life in that
Mm-hmm.
way. And that is
Yes.
how I started this series. And I know people are going to be confused when they see that W.A.P. Like, what is she talking about?
Yes.
I'm talking about winning attitudes that persevere. I'm not talking
Yes.
about that crazy nonsense.
Yes.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
not trying to be over sexualized and nasty.
Mm-hmm.
No, I want people to know that you don't have to settle for that.
Right.
It can be just as catchy and just as fun in a positive way that my
Yep.
children and my girls look up to and say, "Oh, okay,
Okay, I got a WAP.
right, right." And I'm probably saying it wrong because I'm
Yes.
like WAP, and I hear people saying WAP, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm probably saying it wrong." I'm gonna just say I got
Hey, WAP,
WAP.
WAP. Either way,
Wibbity
I
wop
got
wop
it.
bam.
So, yeah. Right, right. Yes. Yes, I'm
That
all
is
for it.
so
Yes.
good.
We have to oh man, this brought me to like this brought me to a note when you talked about it, and when you sent it over to me, I was like, yes, like women need to be aware of their preparation. What's the word again?
WAP. Oh, perseverance.
My list be acting up.
Oh, mine
Perseverance,
too.
yeah, my list be acting up. Yeah, it acts up sometimes. So women, we need to be aware of that. We need to be aware of that. We just don't have to have like our outer bodies to tell about us. Our
Right.
inner bodies can tell a story too. It really can
Absolutely.
tell a story about us. And in order for us to tell the story, we got to know the story.
Right.
So we have to know ourselves. Like, I mean, and self-care, self-loving is literally the first forefront of that. Of, do you love yourself? One, like, do you
Right.
love yourself? One. Two, how do you love yourself? And three, how can you give love? Like, that's literally
Right.
what I tell myself all the time, especially during this journey, because I want to give, I want to receive as much as I give, if that
That
makes sense. Mm-hmm.
it does. It does. That is
Mm-hmm.
absolutely awesome.
Yes. So what it means to me, just getting to know myself a little bit better. That's the whole point of it. Is to, like, we're not the same who we were, when we were kids, even at young adults, or we
Yeah.
probably learned some things when we were at home. It's not that it was intentional, but some things are not as important as what it was when we were younger. And so now that we get older into this world and things in that nature, I just want to know more about me. I want to
That's
learn more
awesome.
about me. And I just hope that others can do it as well too.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. That was good.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any questions for me?
No, I think that's it.
Perfect. All
Yes.
right.
Mm-hmm.
I told you, I am talking to people who are pushing towards progress, who are making changes in their lives and making no excuses. You already know, I'm positive and I make no excuses for it. Doesn't mean that every day is great. Doesn't mean that I don't go through things. Oh, I go through things. But it is my effort. And it is within me to be positive, because I know that if I let this go and if I just let any negative thoughts steer me in the wrong direction, I'm likely to go back into places I don't want to be, into behaviors I don't want to see, and I just want to grow. I want to be different. I'm not trying to be something that I'm not, but I'm pushing towards positivity and greatness. My favorite mentor, motivator, I don't know him personally, but motivational speaker, he says, you have greatness within you. Les Brown, you have greatness within you. And I maybe listened to him about 10 years ago. And after listening to him, I knew in my spirit, I knew in my soul, I have greatness within me. And I wasn't operating in that greatness. Just living the day-to-day life, going through the routines, being a creature of habit, I knew that there was something more in me. And going to church, being a Christian woman, the Christian woman that I am, and listening to my pastor every Sunday, it was up to me to make those changes. They were pouring into me. They were feeding me. Oh, absolutely. But it's up to me to eat, right? And so this is why I feel like this series of W.A.P is so important, because we're talking about people who are out there doing something to make a difference, whether it's in their lives and how it's going to touch somebody else's lives. You don't know until you know what they're doing, right? And so that's why I feel like W.A.P, Winning Attitudes Persevere, is such an important series, and it's such a fun series for me, and I'm excited to just introduce more people to you, and let's get to know them and their story and why they have such a winning attitude and how they have persevered through everything that they've gone through in life. And I hope that you're on this journey with me. So with no further ado, let's just get back into the series. I will be back with you with another person, and I'll be excited to introduce and share their story with you too. So it's G time. You have the power to create change.